Hello everyone, this is Nimish and today we're going to review the classic movie Kireedam starring Mohanlal and Thilakan sir. This movie is an outstanding favorite of all Malayalis. It's a classic, it's a very emotional movie for everyone and all of you are attached to this movie in some way or the other. So we are going to do a very detailed review of Kireedam today. Before I get into this review, I want to speak about the Twitter survey I recently held. For those of you who are not following me on Twitter, maybe because you don't have Twitter accounts or you don't know how to use Twitter or it's crazy, it's stupid, I'd appreciate if you do make that Twitter account and follow me because it's fun and all your votes of all my subscribers will be very relevant to all the surveys that I hold. The most recent survey that I held was who will be the next big icon in the Malayalam film industry like Mohanlal in the future, and the options were Dulquer Salmaan, Nivin Pauly or Fahad Fazil. The first and most popular replies and reactions that I got as to why I didn't include Prithviraj, and that's only because I think Prithviraj is a little senior, he's more established, and you know, he's already halfway there. I mean, he's a little senior and I can't put him in the same category as these three as per my knowledge of him and the others. So I think he's a little senior, so that's why I didn't put him in this category, because these three are pretty much in the same zone. Based on the response which was held over 1 week, though the answer to the survey is clearly in front of you. Everyone thinks Dulquer Salmaan will be the next big icon. Of course, many people think that no one can replace Mohanlal, and that was not the point of the survey. But the point is that many people think Dulquer Salmaan will be the most famous person or the biggest kind of superstar in the future. It's great to know. It's great to know what you guys think, how you guys think, and I would much appreciate for all of you to sign up for Twitter, follow me at Nimish Halkar. You don't have to follow anyone else, and just, you know, participate in the surveys, leave your comments, give me your recommendations of movies. I candidly post everything that I need to about any movie because it's Twitter. It's not like YouTube that is there forever. It just goes, your post disappears and blah blah. So if you guys want to know more about my immediate reactions to movies, different movies, what I think, how I am, blah blah, please do follow me on Twitter. It's fun and I'm sure you guys will have much more fun than you ever had on Twitter. So moving on to the review of Kireedam. The first thing I would like to speak about in this review is, of course, the acting. Begin with Mohanlal's acting. Mohanlal plays this guy who is very happy, he's very lazy, he's trying to achieve something, become a cop, he has a good love story, a good family, everything is going pretty peacefully for him until a twist of events happen where he then starts losing everything, he starts getting misunderstood for everything that he does. Any action that he does gets a completely different interpretation, and it's no fault of his, but that's how he's perceived. And as the movie carries on, his kind of emotions spiral out and go crazy to the height, and the movie ends at a completely different point from where it started for Mohanlal. So his acting through this journey was of course fantastic. In any review I do of Mohanlal, you'll notice that I'm not really here to judge his acting or say that it was bad or anything, because he's one of the biggest superstars and the biggest and most appreciated actors in India, if not the world, and so there's no need to judge his acting or say that he's good or bad, but it's just as to how good he is. And I think that he was fantastic in this movie, and again he blended in this role. When I was watching Mohanlal in this movie, I didn't remember the Mohanlal from Manichitratal or Guru, and that's the point of every actor. That's the objective that every actor should kind of focus on, that you should never be yourself in a movie unless there's really no choice, and you know, it's just a random story or an entertainer where your traits come out naturally. Every actor should seek to make the audience forget that they're watching Mohanlal. It should be like they're watching the character, and I think that that was very successfully achieved. But in all honesty, no matter how big a star Mohanlal is, and no matter how much we all love him, I think that Thilakan sir's performance in this movie was 1,000 times better. The reason I say that is because his role was of a police officer who's in a very difficult situation as a father and a police officer, and who's going through a lot also. But his perfection to play that role of a strict, disciplined cop is something that I've never seen so much dedication in. If you noticed in my memories review, I said how Prithviraj never loses the fact that he's a drunk. ever in the movie, not even for a second on screen. And that's exactly how Thilakan sir portrayed a cop, a disciplined cop in this movie. Never ever did he lose that element of his personality. Even when he was saluting, he saluted so hard, like, you know, even real cops probably don't salute that much. But that's the amount of dedication he's given to his role, and he never forgot that he was a police officer and that he had to do it perfectly. So I think that his performance is the crux of this movie. He's definitely the most interesting character, and the movie is actually based around him. For example, he is the most central character. It's, of course, it's about Mohanlal and his journey, but the crux and the story points are all attached to the father, which is Thilakan sir. So I think that he had a very crucial role and he played it outstandingly. So I loved his performance the most in this movie. Moving on to the story. Now, for most of you guys have watched this. It's a very old movie, so you guys have watched it when you were young, when you were growing up, and it's one of the very new kind of stories for you guys. But for me, in the 90s, what happened is a lot of the Sunny Deol, Jackie Shroff, Sanjay Dutt kind of movies were all based around police officers and their families, and how things go wrong for police officers when it comes to villains. Of course, in Bollywood, it's crazy super villains with, you know, those typical kind of Mogambo type of villains, but it basically revolved around how their lives fall apart because of the villain and how they lose everything, and they kind of course in Bollywood they redeem it in the end with a crazy fight scene. But for me, the basic plot line of a police officer and their family and how things go awry or wrong for them because of some villain was not new, which it was for you guys, which is why you guys probably enjoyed it much more. So for me, after the first half an hour, which was nicely shown about the family, their relationships, which I really enjoyed, after the half an hour until the last half an hour, about Mohanlal losing everything one by one. He loses his kind of girlfriend, his family loses trust in him, everything is kind of going up and down. For me, that was very predictable. It was not that it's not enjoyable, it's not new, or I don't like it. I loved the movie completely and it's very entertaining. It's not boring. It was just predictable for me because I have grown up watching other Hindi movies which have had the same plot line. So for me, the perspective is of course different as compared to you guys who watched it at a very young age. Just like with other movies like, I know, the Manichitratal, Bulbulaya, where I've watched it something else and I come in to watch something else. So it's different because I've seen it. So for me, it's repetitive. That's all I'm saying. So in that 1 hour, after the first half an hour till the last half an hour, this movie didn't seem innovative, new, creative to me because I've seen the story. So I was just waiting to wonder what exactly happens, like how it goes on. Is there something different about this movie? Why is this movie so highly recommended? But of course, the last half an hour changes everything. The last half an hour is basically what makes this movie so brilliant. Technically, if you guys think to yourselves, until the first 1.5 hours, it's just a pretty much a normal movie about a normal story about some people, but that last 15 to 20 minutes changes a lot. What happens in the last 15 to 20 minutes is Mohanlal gets to know that his family is in danger because of him, and so he has to go to protect them and face the villain. And he does that, he goes out to do that, and it is shown how his emotions are out of control and he's kind of completely phased out psychologically, and he can't really distinguish between what exactly is correct, what exactly is wrong, what exactly he's trying to do, what will be the result of his actions, what has he lost, what will he ever gain, will he ever be the same old person again. There are so many emotions going through his head, and that piece of performance, which is the climax of the movie, is outstanding, unmatchable, something that has never been done before, something that has never been done ever since. It's amazing, and that is what makes this movie a super duper classic. His performance in that scene was outstanding because it's extremely difficult because no one goes through all those emotions in real life to actually enact that. And that's why in one of the very recent interviews of Priyadarshan, he said that Mohanlal and Amitabh Bachchan are like two actors who can do anything and they can just do it perfectly, and there's no words to describe them, there's no words to kind of even explain how brilliant they are, and that's why they are so famous and that's why they've achieved so much. So that was outstanding. I didn't expect that. I didn't see that coming. I thought he's probably, I don't know, going to kill the villain and the movie is going to be a happy ending, but it wasn't. It was a very tragic, confused ending about how it was like an unfulfilled ending, because he is kind of completely lost it in the movie. And I think that that performance is outstanding, and that is the crux of the movie, and it makes the movie what it is. So even though the last 1 hour before the climax was not very entertaining for me because I've watched it a lot, this is what made me kind of love the movie, because it ended on that note. And I'm sure that's what all of you also loved, because it ended on such a different note and on such a realistic note. And even by the end of it, the father does not lose his discipline, and you know, he's just what he is, and he can't believe his son has gone through this. He knows what his son is going through, but he can't help it because he's a cop. And all those emotions, there are so many emotions in the climax that it's like a whole different video can be made by me on the climax, because there's so much detailing gone into it. Now, about what could have been better in this movie, there's just one scene which I thought was really, I don't know, I just got confused when I watched that scene because of the body language and the direction. So the scene is when Mohanlal comes to know that his family is in danger, and he's staying with his friend, he's kind of hiding there, and he decides that, you know what, he can't hide anymore, he has to go back, he has to kind of help his family or protect his family and face the villain, because for him, his family should not be in danger. So when that scene happens, you might remember, okay, I've attached the link for the movie, you can go and check it out. You might remember that he walks in a very slow manner, relaxed manner. The justification for this is that, of course, in the script, justification for this is that he's lost everything. He's lost hope, he's given up on life, so his body language is completely low, and he's just living, he's just whatever, I have to go protect my family. But I think that a natural instinct, when you come to know that your family is in danger and you have to go back, automatically you become a little more composed, a little more controlled. And so what felt like he was strolling in a park and going back home like, okay, now I have to go protect my family, I have no hope left. I think when he heard the news, he should have been a little more firm, and he should have been like, okay man, I really need to go back, thanks for everything, blah blah, but I need to go back now and protect them, I can't stay like this anymore, and walked out faster. The point that he walked out very slowly, came back to speak to his friend, again walked out slowly, is something that confused me. It's an extraordinarily minor detail that no one even notices, but for me it was glaringly important, because I think that a natural reaction should be more firm. Because now he's going back to face the villain, he's going back to protect his family who has already been threatened and probably, I don't know, in danger. So he needs to go back as soon as he can and make sure things don't get worse for them. So I thought that that one scene could have been a little better in terms of body language and performance, but I really don't know what was going on in the head of the director that he needed him to keep that slow, lost walk. This kind of gets an explanation in the climax, because you come to know that he's kind of going crazy, so you don't expect him to be in full control. But I just think that that scene is the only one small scene that could have been a little different. Another actor I'd like to mention is the brother-in-law. I'm not sure what the relation is, but the guy who's basically in a gray area all the time. He's like a villainous kind of a thing. He's not the villain, but he's bad by nature. He's harmless, but he's bad by nature. I think that he perfectly acted his part. Some might say that he was overacting, but I think that you needed that contrast in the movie to kind of give it that annoying element, that spice element, that element of danger, so to speak, that, you know, it's like 440 volts, danger, please don't touch kind of an element, that something might happen from this annoying person who's always being a creep all the time. So I think he also performed well. I'm not sure who he is, if he's a big actor or not. Again, this is the first time I've seen him, but he was outstanding. Anyway, all in all, I'm very happy about this movie, and I'm even happier to know that this movie has a sequel called Chenkol. I don't know how to say that perfectly. Chenkol. And I'm really looking forward to watch that movie, because I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, especially the end. I enjoyed the performances, and I want to stay with the character. So I'm so glad that they made another sequel where we can stay with Mohanlal's character and see what happens next. So I'm really looking forward to that movie. I hope you like this review of Kireedam. I have updated my actors leaderboard to include Mohanlal. The next actors that might come on the board may be Prithviraj and Mammootty. I will try to watch their movies before anyone else's so I can put them on the leaderboard. I hope you like this review. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep watching.